Hold on. Are we live on the YouTube? Hold on, checking. Yes. Success. Major success. Okay, so the two things we're going to do right now for the spectator mode, we need to fix the player HUD because the player HUD is getting the old player character because when we respawn, we create a new player character. Probably not the smartest thing I could do. Maybe I should just not do that. Maybe I should just re-inherit the player character that we had. And then... yeah, it's fine. Whatever. What we should do, though, is instead of event construct, we're going to move this somewhere else. The strip support told me to go upgrade to trash Windows 11. They gave me 1 year of extended support for like a year, I think. Hold on, let me double check. Let me see what it says. Let me go to Windows System. It shows this somewhere. Where does it show it? How do you, where do I see that? System? Is it not in system? Computer management. No. What? Dude, I don't know. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I have like support for like a year. I just don't know where I find that. I don't know where that is. Oh, I have extended security updates. So I have extended security updates until... how long does this run till? The program ends on October 13th, 2026. Yeah. Yeah. So I only have until October. And then from that point on, I'll have to maybe reinstall and go to long-term support. Honestly, though, okay, honest question. For the IT wizards in chat, okay? If you don't go on really sketchy websites and you're not stupid with your computer, do you really need... Is it really urgent to get those Windows updates, those security updates. I'm sure, obviously, it's helpful for various things, but yeah. Also, doesn't the LTSC version, isn't it mostly for like um doesn't it have some features stripped away because it's kind of like a corporate version meant for corporate use? Or I remember there being something about that. I don't know what features would be stripped away from it. Yes, but you can reinstall basically everything. Oh, so you just have to manually reinstall stuff. But like, what would you have to even reinstall? What would you even have to reinstall? Like, what are the things you'd have to reinstall? What is stripped away? God, Windows is annoying. Every Windows Store app. Why would I want any of those? Why the hell would I want any of those? How do you clear bindings? Oh, it's just it is really annoying having to manually clear all of these bindings. It is a bit annoying having to do all of this. So I wonder if maybe it's maybe we don't recreate the player character. Maybe we create like a dummy actor for the dead body. Just create a dummy actor. Hmm. Hmm. The thing is, I probably never noticed a difference in daily usage with the consumer version. Games work fine, even the ones with anti-cheat protection, etc. You guys remember when they said Windows 10 would be the last Windows they were ever released? We all knew that shit was a fucking lie. Yo, Danny, how's it going? We all knew that shit was a lie. It was a lie. A lie. A straight lie. Just a lie. It was the last Windows I'll ever use, though. I just don't see myself switching to a different OS. Definitely not going to Mac. I'd rather fucking stub my toe. Windows 11, I will do my best to delay ever using that. Linux, I just don't really care for, to be honest. Maybe 10 years from now. I don't know. Maybe 10 years from now. Maybe I'll be interested in Linux. Maybe. Steam OS is literally just for playing video games. It's not for production use, like what I do. Mac's not that bad for Unreal stuff. Listen, Mac is just, for me, that's a subjective thing. I just don't like Mac. I just don't like the interface. I don't like any of it. I don't like the way it's used. You know, I just don't like it. That's just on a subjective basis. You know what I mean? Bind character reference. And then this will be attached to on possess. Yeah, I could see that. RTZN. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being a thing. It's just not there yet at the moment for me. Maybe maybe it'll grow more from an interest standpoint. Yeah, possibly. Who knows? So we need to do clear binding on exhausted begin and new item equipped. I should unbind the specific event, because if I do unbind all, that will unbind all. That'll unbind all, which, you know, not good. Update input contexts. I like being able to work wherever I want. I just hate Windows laptops. At some point, I'll probably have a laptop. Because ideally, I'd like to do a little bit of traveling. Traveled the world. So I'd probably need a laptop to work while traveling a little bit. But I don't really look forward to working on a laptop, to be honest. Working on a laptop and working in Unreal on a laptop. It's already tough enough on a fucking desktop. Golden. So we need to unbind exhausted begin. Let's create the event. It's going to be UI start exhaustion. You can always have AI to work for you? Right, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. Just so I can get back and, like, clear all of it and redo it myself. Yeah, hell yeah. Love that. The future! The future! Future! Okay, so that seems to be all of our bindings that we need to clear. So then from here, we can rebind pawn reference. We're doing a little swirls. We're doing a little swirls here. Swirly swirl. Computer explodes by just opening up UE. It's, yeah. Trying to install Zorin OS on a spare machine to test it out, and it keeps saying that the Wi-Fi adapter is not recognized. You go to the GitHub page for Zorin OS, and you're like, guys, this doesn't work. Someone who does daily PRs. Works on my machine. I think my problem with Linux is that it's open source. I know that sounds weird, but after dealing with personalities, I'll say it, personalities in open source areas, I kind of just, I love it and I hate it too at the same time. If you're mainly doing coding, it's not really that bad working with a laptop. Yeah, but I work directly in the engine a lot of the time, and that is a lot of blueprinting and stuff. Whereas if I just worked with an IDE, sure, but I don't just work with an IDE, so kind of weird, the open source cult. well, it's not really open source cult. You just deal with narcissistic assholes. So when you deal with narcissistic assholes, you deal with people that are like my way or the highway, basically. And it's kind of like, okay, great. So we basically just end up back at ground zero when it comes to an operating system. That's not true for all open source, but a lot of open source, I feel like when it gets popular, devolves into like that. I feel like Blender, Godot, I'm sure is probably experiencing it to some extent. I've seen some stories about some stuff with Godot. I'm sure many other open source platforms have probably experienced a similar kind of thing. I wouldn't mind trying out Linux. Like if it becomes more widely supported and whatnot, maybe. Listen, though, I'll be completely real. I don't give a fuck about customizing an OS. Just give me the bare minimum so I can just use my software in a secure platform. That's it. I don't give a shit about literally features or anything like that, personally. Let me do the things I need to do. That's it. That's all I want to do. That's it. You are just a canvas for me to do my things on. Yeah. Linux Mint has been way better on the compatibility front. I think that seems to be like the Linux Mint seems to be the popular standard. Right? Right. The Godot dude creator has kind of a toxic way of thinking. Seen a lot of weird things. I just don't care. I don't care. That's just my problem with open source is that I don't know. I think the thing with open source is that you are responsible for the thing that you're using, right? Which means if you don't know how to code or fix the things that are within the thing that you're currently pulling, good fucking luck, right? Like I think that's the problem with open source to some extent is you are responsible. Bind to character reference. Okay, so we need a call to onPossessed, which I think is already a function. So we should be able to onPossess is where? In the controller or the player state? I think the player state might have its own version, does it not? Override. Copy properties. Oh, interesting. Did you know you can customize your kernel by recompiling it with different configurations? Says do person with too much free time. I'm just trying out Zorn because it lets you open the exe files without much configuring. How does Linux open .exe files? At least you can fix it. No need to pray to the Unity gods to fix a bug. I guess that's true. That's one. Well, can't you gain access to Unity source by paying for Pro or no? Enterprise. Just use cloud code and click make a game button. Profit. Hell yeah. The sloppening. That's the enterprise plan. Then you can then use Unity to make your game in C++. What the fuck? I bet you that costs like a few $1,000s though. Didn't Gary's mod buy enterprise when they were working on Rust, and then like the Unity devs tried to fuck them over or something? The Unity like company tried to fuck them over. I swear I remember seeing something about that. Okay, so the player controller, I believe, is the only one that has an onPossess call. So we need to get our player controller, which is this. Bind event to on possessed pawn changed. So I'm going to assume this should be fine. Old pawn, new pawn. Oh, fuck. I actually really like the fact that it spits out the old pawn and the new pawn, because then that means I actually don't need to do a cast to. I could just set the pawn directly. But let's see if it works. Okay. Let's just do 2 players just in case. What are we working on today? Fixing a few things with... Okay, taking damage does not work anymore. Okay. Bind event to on possessed pawn changed. Does this only get called if... If it changes, not on the beginning? I think this only happens when the possessed... Oh, great. I guess what we could do is do just do a first beginning call here. Bind character references. Okay, that works. Okay. We die, and then let's teleport to station. He will respawn, and if this all works, we should see his health bar turn to green. Oh, it works. However, the health bar doesn't... It does not... When we bind, it is not updating the health. Maybe because visual health was not updated. But it is getting the new reference call. So... Is it the visual health that's just not being set? Boom. We set the pawn health of the HUD. Rightio. Let's just do this. Divide that by max health. I'm assuming this is a value of 1. So let's just set the visual health to 1. That should immediately start us at 1. Let's see now. Okay. Teleport to station. He'll regenerate, and ideally his health gets set to 1. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, no, you know what? We got to reset the visual health ourselves, actually. Or, what is it called? Pawn health. We got to set pawn health ourselves. We'll reset the pawn health from here. Or we could directly read from the pawn reference and get his actual health. Like that might be a good idea as well. So we'll get his actual health from here. If I can type health. This is gonna be divided by max health. But yeah, we're working on the spectator stuff. There's 2 tasks we need to get done before this is like bare minimum working. We don't have any UI stuff when you die. We don't have a spectator UI or anything like that. Technically don't need it yet, right? So once we get these 2 tasks out of the way, it is essentially playtest ready. However, of course, there's other things that we need to kind of do, right? So I'm just wrapping up these 2 things. Wrapping up one of them right now, which is the HUD. And then after that, we just have to make it so if all of the players die, then we reset them back to station 0. Okay, his health came back. Okay, cool. Can he pick up items? I think so. It seems like it's back to normal on that front. Cool. I have an item equipped, but it's stuck. It's stuck on my screen. Guys, not very good. Well, anyways, the HUD is updating, I think. So we can say goodbye to that task. I love how I'm using a notepad, but I'm also using this. It's kind of like useless, but it at least organizes me. I don't know, it just keeps me organized. I don't know, I just so I focus on this specifically. So I don't look at everything else, because my brain is just like, UI pop up on death. Like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Yeah. Jay, what's up, man? How'd he do? How'd he do? How'd he do? Doing some character stuff and twiddling my thumbs till Friday release. You're just kind of sitting there, just like, well, now what? Now what I do? What do I do now? Me releasing, everything's fine. 1 week in, fucking 12 hours a day trying to fix bugs. Dude, it was like bugs came out of nowhere. So many issues came out of nowhere. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't think they came out of nowhere, but a lot of issues did pop up that previously I did not perceive. Like crashes that randomly started occurring. And I was like, wow, we never saw any of these. Okay, so the HUD is updating. Now we just have to do the big thing, which is respawn at station 0. So so here's station _1, right? We need a station zero. We need a new station map. I'm going to copy these floor pieces and we're going to make a new level. This shall be called station_0. This is the starter station. Okay, this is the starter station. It's a flat plane for now. Soon enough, it'll be this nice, fancy, fucking London-style thing. There's going to be a whole area for the employees and everything. There's going to be a little break room, a change room, a game room, every room you can think of. Every single room. A washroom, and maybe, perhaps, a bathroom. I don't know. But yeah, okay, so Station 0... We need to load Station 0 at the very beginning of the game. Because right now, when you start the game, it immediately starts the game. So we need to start the game at the point where you're not really starting the game. I guess what we'll do, though, is... You'll have no monsters, but all the rooms. You're damn right we will, Bullseye. Hey, listen, we have 2 monsters, technically. We technically have 2 monsters in the game. Got John, and then the... Cherry Bomb, the bomb guy who yells and screams because you interrupted his sleep. We technically have 2 monsters in the game. We don't have no monsters. We have monsters. They just are not 100% functional at the momento, okay? Right? Okay. Shaq. Grim, what up, bro? You didn't visit me in the hospital? Was I supposed to? What happened? This is much more important. Monsters, plural, big win. True, it's true. I think one problem I have with the game right now... I have multiple problems. The gameplay loop is one of them, but the big one is the exploration. The exploration part is going to be a difficult sell, I feel like. Because I feel like the enticing thing for some players, for a lot of friendslop games, is the fact that you get lost. Whereas with this, there's no real way to get lost. Is this a train or an office building? It's both. Next question. What happened to your top-down shooter game? It's released. It's 1.0. Why are there so many... Why are there so many trombones here? I stayed there for 2 weeks this time? Jeez, man. Yeah, top-down shooter game is done. Done, for the most part. Mostly done. Is the train moving or the train moving? The terrain is moving. I think the thing is I shouldn't treat this like a traditional friendslop game. I think it's honestly, like I said last time, it's my summer car slash friendslop, you know? I feel like it's more so my summer car in some respects. Whoa. So it'll be interesting to really get this working. This is a bomb. Watch this. See? I know. I just know. All right. Okay. I'm trying to delay the fact that I'm gonna have to work on a station 0 now. I guess we can make an event that's like basically go back to beginning, back to station 0, load station 0. The train interior's looking awesome. It's definitely feeling a lot more. It's definitely feeling a lot more lively. That's for sure. Having a lot more little elements and the grunge texture on the walls, very Source-esque because of like the way that we did the whole leaks and everything. I don't know if I'd say it's. Here, put the screen percentage to 70 because that's how we're gonna ship the game most likely. I don't know if I still... Like, obviously, the front panel at the front there isn't done. This needs to be redone. The quote system needs to work. Or, like, we have to redo the quota system. Been having a decent surge of visibility, and now I'm getting feature requests 2 days before release. Oh, brother, you're going to get a lot of feature requests. Welcome to game development. Oh, great. I gotta fix this bug where if you, like, grab onto an item too quick. It's even happening in on the server. Which is funny. Multiplayer things. Wait, where's my sponge? Did it fall through the world? Again? God, I fucking hate Unreal's collision, man. Unreal collision and physics. God. Where'd it go? I think it fell through the world. Alright, fine. We are 100% gonna need some sort of system to determine if a object accidentally fell through the world or not. I don't know why, but this train is asking for portals you can use to go to certain cars, and it could cause that I'm lost sensation you're looking for. I do have ideas for cars that will be like that. But yeah, there's probably something that could be done here to like really maximize the exploration element. Make it feel a little bit more random. Was working on a golf game. If you hit the ball at a wall, it would clip through almost every time because Scythe only generally planes it. Yeah, this is using dynamic collision, so that's probably what's going on. The floor is a plane, and it's not a full box. I don't think Unreal likes planes. So I think once I make the box larger, or once I make the floor larger, should work fine. But I gotta create like custom collision for all of this. You're to Boston. Is that a sponge, or will that be the player model eventually? First time here, so I'm not sure the concept, so no offense. Ah, yes, the sponge player model. No, this is the character model. Not much better than the sponge. Let me tell you. Not much better than the sponge. He could be a sponge. He could be a sponge. Hey, welcome to the sponge game. Axis is the computer. Yes. You could call the sponge Bob. You're a funny one, you, Mr. Grinch. Okay, moving on. So we got to get the station 0 working. Station 0, huh? Okay. How do we begin at Station 0? Ideally, we want to start the game at Station 0. I'm trying to get my bearings here. So we need to restart the train state. What does the button do again? Let me double check. What does the button do again? The start stop button will call a interact call, which is multi-start next route. Interesting. Interesting. Which I think we can keep. I think we can keep this. Yeah, I think we can keep this. Okay. Is this a replicated variable? It's not. Huh? What? Okay, interesting. Very interesting. I feel like this should be a replicated call, but it is not. Okay. If the path progress is more than or equal to 100 and currently not at a station, then it will set it to currently at a station. What? Am I stupid? Well, don't answer that. Huh. Why is... So it's using path progress to determine if the players should be currently at a station. Why? That's a really bad way to keep track of the state of the game. We should instead have, like, I don't know, something else. Especially if we have randomization involved. Um, is requesting unload and removal train. This is respawning players. Let's comment it. Let's comment it. Respawn all dead players. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to comment now. Doing some little comments and whatnot. Although I gotta be honest, I dislike this whole... I kind of... You know what I think I learned? I don't like the way things are commented in Blueprint. I don't know. There's something about this big ass box filling in the whole space that for some reason just irks my... It just irks me. The black color comment looks fire IMO. What is it by default? Oh, white? This is like a dark gray. Okay. Let's refer to our thing here. So this is a larger task than what I perceived. The reason for that being we have to just create the whole system of Station 0 to begin with, which is before the train ever starts the run, the players all need to start at Station 0. However, Station 0 is a completely different station. All of our stuff has been routed for Station 1, which is like the shop area, which is like our default station. So now I got to start adjusting our system to take into account different stations. Because currently, it is not doing that. And for some reason, this isn't replicated. We should just replicate this, make it a name, and then that can determine which station we're at. And then if it's none, then that means we're not at a station. I don't get why I did this way. We got a lot of work here. Maybe try to use the new free plugin from Free Monthly Epic to write comments. Listen, sketching random dicks on my fucking graph isn't gonna solve the problem. Oh, hey, I can draw now. I don't think it's gonna help. Let's start organizing this. Maintenance tasks. Maintenance tasks. Oh, hey, that's so cool. You can't categorize on-rep calls. Wow. 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 That's so cool. That is so cool. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Why is this testing? Why can't it just be add currency? I'll have you know the dicks I draw in my blueprint are very descriptive. Yeah, all right. What are you, an artist? Wait, there's nothing calls this. So then what is the point of this thing if it's not even being used? Okay, let me try to find references again. Maybe this was a lie. Nope, it's not being used by anything. Are you sure? Am I gonna find reference by name all? No. Find reference by class member. No. It seems to be used literally nowhere. So then what do you... Get out of here. You know what? Get out. Set player life state. We'll put this into a category called players. Train state tick. We shall put this in, I don't know, put it into a category called gameplay. I guess gameplay. You know, min-max. What are we working on? Technically, we're working on the spectator/death state. However, this is also a much larger task than I thought it would be. We're basically working on station 0. So this is going to be the station that is essentially the lobby that all of the players will start in. And then when all of the players die, they'll be respawned basically at station 0. So from the very beginning. So not only do I have to create a system to spawn all the players at station 0 at the beginning, but I got to do all this other stuff too. So, while we... Whoop! So, this is a much larger task at hand than I perceived it to be. So, reset all stats. In train state. Reset all of the stats in the train route game state train state struct. So that means, I guess we'll just copy this default. Yeah, whatever. Then really think about continuing my prototype that I abandoned a few months ago. For some reason these days I keep thinking about it, but I already have a project to continue. Well, what's the state on your current project? What's the state on your current project? In the middle, I guess. In the middle. So the hardest part of the development. Lots done, but lots to do. I'd say push through it for a little bit more, but find the reason as to why you're thinking. I think the thing is, we always think about what we're going to work on next, but yeah, I don't know. Find the reasoning as to why, you know, I would say try to complete what you're currently working on. Find ways of completing it in a good amount of time, I suppose. The last 5% is actually the start of the middle. We just have to be careful because I know this is a thing, and I feel like people do say it as a joke, but I do feel like there's a lot of people that actually use that literally, is like, we call it the last 5%. But realistically, adding sound effects, some people think adding sound effects is the last 5%. It's like, no, brother, that's not the last 5%. Sound effects is not a last 5% thing. Brother, you're like, you're at 50%. You're at the last 50%. I feel like it's a dangerous territory calling it the last 5% from a mental health standpoint. For me, the last 5% has been business stuff and hyper polishing. Yeah, I call it that. I guess it's maybe just a figure of speech. Maybe I'm just looking at it too literally. Like for me, I feel like I'm still in the first like 25% of the project right now. This is like the first 25%. Okay, so currently at station is just a Boolean, but I actually think this is incorrect. It should be a replicated variable, maybe a name, then we can keep track of which station we're currently at. And then that way, any new players that spawn in will know where we currently are. Yeah. HDR is messed up on my monitor. Now you're red/pink. That's because I am red/pink. Most of the really big bug fixing was done throughout the middle for me. I think I did a good job having playtest the entire time in development. Yeah, playtesting frequently is very big. I have not playtested this game in a while, and it's due time is coming very, very soon. There is probably going to be a lot of issues that get caught in the next test for this. Okay, so when we reach the station, I think we immediately add to the route index. Right. I could, in theory, read from the route index to determine which station we're at, but I feel like that's really stupid. So every variable call that has currently at station is going to have to be changed. There are quite a few. There's also one in here in a different area. Yeah. Windows 11 doesn't like to have one non-HDR and one HDR screen on setup. I don't think I have HDR monitors. My actual project is an airport project for flight sim. There's a lot of things that I don't do, like sounds programming, etc. Ah, okay. I see. I see. I see. I think I see. I think I see. Okay. Maybe I miss programming. I don't. There's something very satisfying about programming, though. I honestly, I think for the most part, enjoy every part of game development to some extent. Obviously, it's got, there's got annoying parts, like, I will say that rigging can be kind of annoying. Sometimes animating can be kind of annoying, but I feel like that's more of a software issue, having a quarrel with the software rather than the act of doing the thing. Because I still find it to be somewhat satisfying to some extent. So let's just do this. And I have a delay call in here, which is not very good, but that's okay. We'll unload both Station 0 and Station 1 at the moment. That's what we'll do for now. It's not exactly the best way of doing things, but for now we'll do that. And then... State when all of the players are dead, respawn at Station 0. Reset all of the stats in the game state. Then we need to load Station 0 level and replicate state. Need to adjust station variable and set to rep notify. Limit rotation, copy my balls, rigging right now. Love that stuff. Love that stuff. Favorite part of game development. Favorite part. Okay, rigging and skinning, even though I still dislike level design and I find it to be very challenging, I think rigging has to be the one part that's like actually just annoying, to be honest. It is satisfying when it works. However, you don't have that many moments where it works. When it works, it's far and few between. It's, yeah. And usually the point at which you give up is when you give up and you're like, whatever, good enough. Rather than it being like, oh, it perfectly works. But I feel like, again, a lot of it just comes down to the software. When you have like a big problem, I feel like it's just like, oh, the software is just being annoying and stupid. Like, for example, rigging in Blender versus rigging in Maya for an Unreal skeleton. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Character art, I'm also very bad at, mainly because I just haven't given it enough of a, like, try, I feel like. I've done a few characters, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say they are very good. I wouldn't say they're very good. We also have to delete all items in main train. So when we restart, we're going to want to delete all of the items in the main train. Turn off all maintenance tasks. Set currency to 0. Okay. Characters in general are like a nightmare for me. I was messing around with that character last night and immediately remembered where I went for an FPS game. They all have caveats at the end of the day. They all have their caveats. The reality is, with an FPS shooter, you're still going to have to create characters to some extent. Or in some way. I think my problem with this right now is I'm a little overwhelmed with all the stuff in here. I'd be too if someone splashed a pot of spaghetti on a wall. Listen, this isn't a pot of spaghetti on the wall, okay? There's just a lot going on, okay? It's not, it's just, there's a lot going on in here. Am I even a real electrician? Hell no. I have no blue collar skills at all. None. If the world were to have like the what's it called, the solar eclipse or whatever, and like all technology fucking fried, I'm screwed. That being said, I guess a lot of the world would be screwed. On that subject, however, I think it'd be right to assume that a lot of things would be screwed. The current maintenance ID, we could probably reset to 0. So let's put that. Set maintenance ID, current maintenance ID to 0. Okay, I'm starting to get a bit of a grounding in terms of what stuff we need to do for this to work. Okay. Getting a little bit of an idea of the things that are going to be needed to get this to work. Luckily, it's not too big of a problemo. It is not too big of a problemo. What handy skills would even be that good in an apocalyptic situation? I don't know, self-defense. Self-defense. I'm glad my dad taught me how to patch drywall so I can survive this. No, I feel like at that point the world is in like a fucking state of absolute like shit. Because everything relies on electronics for banking. Banking alone in finance would be absolutely fucked. So you can imagine someone going to the bank and being like, hey, where's my money? And then they're told, we literally don't have any computers. All of the servers are fried. You have no money. like, it's probably everybody for themselves at that point, to be honest. I think if something were to happen in that, like all electronics frying, I think we'd all just be screwed at that point. Money wouldn't even be a factor anymore, to be honest. Oh yeah, I guess no blue collar skills would even apply in that situation. So game start run. We do not want to start the run. Additionally, every time we restart, we're probably going to reset the run seed. Right, that will have to be a factor. Oh, shit. Back to the Stone Age. Yeah, probably. Realistically. Although, like, it'll be worse, because everybody will know, like, the type of technology that they had, and then have no access to for probably, like, a few years. Without the internet, you're basically in a stone age? Well, I wouldn't say in a stone age. You're more like in, I don't know. What was the industrial age called? Was it literally just called the industrial age? Or we had a lot of like breakthroughs in terms of the industrial revolution. Yeah, that one. We'll be back to there. Back to there. Back to there. Back to there. We'll be back to there. Back to there. Not my AI girlfriend. No. Oh no. Okay. Where do we want to get started with this? I think the first thing is we want to adjust the currently at station variable. And then I think we want to set it to rep notify. I think that'll be the first thing. Then we need to make a function for loading into station 0. What I'm surprised about is that variable is not replicated. The music from Balik's Pit? Yeah. Haven't played that game in a while. Have I ever written music for my games? No. I leave that to someone who has those skills. Because I feel like it's a really important thing. I usually leave that to someone who knows much better than I do. So I think currently at station should be a name. Should be a name variable, and it should be replicated with rep notify. Yeah. What's been deving? You know, just me staring at my code, thinking about what I got to do next. I do have a plan of action though. So, currently at station should be replicated. What I'm confused about is right. So this is how it's getting it locally. That we're at a station is by reading if the path progress is more than or equal to 100, and that we're not currently at a station. That's kind of stupid. What else though? How is it? So wait, how are we loading the level just from that one Boolean variable? When a player loads in. Is that even working? Hold on. Let's check this real quick. 2 clients, new editor window. Teleport to station real quick. That will make it so both players end up at the station. What about late joiners? Do late joiners even know that we're at the station? They should. We've tested this before. They're here. Hmm. Well, it somehow works. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we are reading that. I don't know where we're reading that. Do I have any music production skills? No. I've tried to use Ableton and FL Studio. But I think it's one of those skills that I just don't. It's not necessarily I don't have the patience for it, but it's like it's yet again learning another skill and starting straight from ground zero. It's very difficult. And then there's a lot. There's a lot to learn when it comes to music production. Yeah, we're talking about music stuff. I don't know if I could, to be honest, I don't know if I could do music. How much would I usually pay for a track? My last game, it was a rev share split contract. I think nowadays, depending on the factors, it would probably be like 500 to 1,000 per minute of track. As far as I know, that's the industry standard. So that'd probably be how much I'd be paying up front. What about singing? I can't sing. Something I want to learn. I feel like I could do it, but I also feel like I need to spend a year or two to get halfway decent, and I really don't have the time for that. Yeah, I'd rather just kind of like... I'll probably try to learn it, but it would be more on a hobby basis rather than trying to use it for my work. Your music implementation game using something like Wise or Fmod? I've used Fmod. For Suit for Hire, which was my first game release, we used Fmod to do a bunch of music system stuff. About 10 euros worth of music. I found my hobby digging through trash than finding golden tracks. Yeah, music is there's too many things, man. There's too many things. Composition alone is a big part of it, but then you got mixing, mastering, all that kind of stuff. It's just too much for me. The progressive music in Super Fire is great, especially on the main menu. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. Tallow did a great job. Tallow is actually, he wants to make a whole, like, cinematic version of the entire soundtrack for the entire game. And I'm like, okay, hey, listen, if you want to do that, you can, but I'm not going to push him to do it. He wants to, like, take the whole soundtrack and make, like, a cinematic, almost, I guess, John Wick inspired version of it. But we'll see. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. I've been thinking about, you know, if I were to make a DLC, what would have to be included in that DLC for the game? I think players would expect a free update, though. I think that became the norm, is alongside a DLC release, I feel like a free update is also necessary. Well, for one, I'd have to do a bunch of bug fixes. There's quite a few bugs that I still have on my to-do list. I got a few messages. Shoot for Hire live service. What's the reception on that new game? Samson? Samson? Is that what it's called? What's the reception on this game? Mixed. It looked a little, like, from my minimal looking at it, it looked a bit jank. It looked a bit, it looked a little jank. I like, the visuals look great, but some of the animations and stuff looked a little jank. It's 25 euros though. I heard it's like around 20 bucks, which in Canadian is $35. My balls. So at least they're not charging AAA prices for it. At least they're not charging AAA prices for it. I think the problem is they marketed it as AAA. And so I feel like because of that, people are expecting this unrealistic AAA quality from this new studio. I think I saw a decent amount of performance complaints, and then the jank as well leaning to mixed. Yeah, that doesn't help. Also, I feel like the combat kind of looks, from what I saw, it kind of looks, I don't know. Melee combat is a really hard thing to get right, man. Especially trying to make it like fun and trying to make it a little different, like. Is it like Sleeping Dogs? I feel like this game is probably a lot like Sleeping Dogs. But I bet you if Sleeping Dogs were to release today, I bet this generation of gamers would probably look at it and be like, ew. You know what I mean? Even though to me, Sleeping Dogs was kind of like such a great release. Yeah, Danny, I think it would be something along the lines of some sort of replayability. But like the problem is like the problem is we would just run back into the problem where it's like the game is just shooting and punching shit. Like there really isn't too much more to it. Like, I guess we could do some sort of itemization system or some sort of like typical roguelite item system, but like then what would we do in our game that's about one-shotting players or one-shotting enemies? So I don't know. I don't know what we would do for a DLC if we were to do a DLC. You know, Domain. In my opinion, the biggest setback is the cost of instruments. If you want AAA level instrument samples, they're going to cost you thousands. You can use free ones, but most times it sounds less professional. Yeah. That was one thing I saw with doing music production as well, is it's a huge money sink. Like, it a huge money sink. Buying fucking, what do you call it? VSTs and buying all of these different things. Like, I only bought Tim Henson's, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, Archetype Tim Henson. Just because, you know, when I play guitar, I just want to have a little, like, thing. But, like, man, going into the music world, you're easily spending, like, if you're going deep into it, you're easily spending, like, $2,000 or some shit. Like, samples and everything. Eee. Do suits have any stat changes or anything? Not really. Like, we could do a complete revamp of the gameplay for the roguelite mode. We make it a little bit more casual friendly, like we have a health bar. Stuff like that. We could do like a complete revamp for that mode, I guess. Would it work in top-down, though? I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we would do if we were to do a DLC. Boo, where's my GTA 6? That's probably some random fucking dumbass out there. Does it have to? I don't know. I just don't know what a roguelite mode would look like for Super Hire. It would just be infinite, same level, just slightly randomly generated. Like, I don't think there'd be anything super duper interesting about it, unfortunately. It could be, you know, it could be like a Sifu style. You have 3 lives. We go real classic gameplay. 3 lives, and you're doing like a custom new campaign for the DLC. I'd probably take Super as a base for a new game if you're going to do a roguelite. Yeah, the thing is though, making a new game is like, I would have big expectations for a new game. We'd do probably a big visual upgrade. Still keeping the style that we have. I think we'd do that style, but we'd have to do a big visual upgrade. We have to upgrade the animations. We'd have to probably add in a bunch of new execution animations. We'd have to do a bunch of stuff. A whole new slew of fucking levels. Probably a slight story campaign to it. Are we suddenly talking about developing Super Hire stuff again? No, I was talking like something that could be interesting is making a DLC for it, but it's like Suit for Hire Remastered. I already know a name if I were to make a second Suit for Hire. It would just be Suit for Hire Reloaded or something like that. It'd be like Suit for Hire Reloaded. Suit for Hire Refitted. It does sound like a remaster. It does a little bit. Actually, wait, wasn't the second one Matrix Reloaded? Uh-oh. Suit for Hire Rehired. I think if I were to make a sequel, though, it would just be only third person. To be honest, I think I would drop the top down, to be honest. I would drop the top down, and the reason why I would drop the top down, I think the problem is if I were to make a sequel, what would we do? We just do the 7 bullets reload thing again? No, I feel like we couldn't do that. It was Matrix Reloaded, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I think the problem is if I were to make a sequel, it would become a lot more casual friendly. When are we adding first person mode Suit for Hire? Ay. That's my problem. I don't know what the hell I would do for a sequel. I know I'd probably only make it third person. I don't know what I would do, man. Should have done an April Fool's update. Soup for Hire. I bet you money if I were to do an April Fool's update and not add any actual substantial stuff to it and it was just a joke, people would be pissed. Didn't censor job? Well, on my screen, job is censored. So. Okay, let's get to work. Thank God for 7TV. I love how we censored job. It's funny. Okay, so currently at station, we're going to redo this. This is now going to be a name. It's going to be a rep notify. By the way, I still have no idea how late joiners are loading the station. Can I just say, I have no idea how they're loading the station still. Where's my begin play? What is? Are we doing it through the character? No. How's the station loaded? The thing is, it loads with a multicast, but... and then we load it here. But late joiners aren't going to receive that multicast call. So I have no idea how they are receiving that call. No idea. Is the station an actor or a sublevel? It's a sublevel. I guess maybe loaded levels are replicated? I don't think they are, though. I don't think they are. I could be wrong. You don't need to load that then? If you load a sublevel on server, it auto-loads it on clients. Really? You don't want to load sublevels with clients at all. If the clients is faster than the server, it could crash. Leave us on Unreal 4. I kept the same logic for UE5. We actually did that with the train. When the train loads in, we have to make sure that the server loads the train first. I think, if I remember correctly, I remember we did something like this. The train has to be loaded first on the server. We did a whole thing, I remember correctly, if I remember correctly. It loads first on the server, and then it loads those instance levels on the client after. Because what ends up happening is... I still remember what happened. The clients get the wrong version, so it's not replicated. None of the actors are replicated. Got into UE3 modding recently because of Dishonored and this engine, dude. Listen, whatever you do, Danny, do not listen to gamers being like old game engines were better. So if this was a Boolean and it was not, then it means it's checking for being not loaded. So is this equal to none? This is the equivalent of it being equal to none, I believe. Currently at station, not. Boolean is not true. True, okay, yep. And then this one is not equal to none, which means it is loaded into something. And then here, again, equal to none. This is going to have to be changed, though. Set with notify currently at station true. Well, that's not, you know, it's, yeah, well, you know, it's, yeah, well, you know. Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, whatever. I have late joining in my game. They don't need to load the levels. Interesting. For me, the only thing they do need to load in is the train. Because everybody loads in their own version of the train. That being said, it is still replicated. So the server loads in first, and then all the clients load in after. Because for that one, it's not using sublevels, it's using level instances. It's very interesting how it works. So in here, yeah, we do load level instances, and then we assign it the optional override name. Yeah. I've never touched level instances. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. You know, Flick. It's very, yeah. It's, interesting. I just recently learned that's even a thing, very Unity. It's a good way of doing, I guess, randomly generated stuff. I want to say games like Lethal Company do the exact same thing, though. Like, the base environment is loaded locally. The only thing they receive is the seed and whatever other information is required from the server, and then they just load their own local version, I feel like. Because we've seen bugs in games like Lethal Company where a player loads a completely different level because I guess maybe they just didn't have the right seed. So, yeah. Okay, there was one other spot where currently at station is called, I think it is in here. So if this is not equal to none, then that means we're currently at a station. Now we just have to so it's technically correct. This should still work. It's just we don't have the actual names for this stuff. But, okay, so if it is, as you say, locally loaded in, actually, you might be correct. Wait, no. You might be correct. I might not have to do this. It's loading the stream level itself. Can I unhook that? Does that mean that it will load the level? We're going to see if my code works, by the way. Oh yeah, the client doesn't need to load the stream level. Hold on, chat. I just have some groceries coming in. You tweak? I love when I'm correct. Good Ginger Dev. How's the train game coming along? It's been a while. It's getting there. It's getting there. What'd you get? We bought like bacon, I think. Some other shit. Oh right, this isn't replicated. Well, it's actually working a lot better than I thought it was. I'm actually kind of surprised that on the client, they actually see a lot more than I thought they would. Obviously this needs to be replicated, but... That actually worked a lot. That actually works a lot better than I thought it would. And it's even spawning in the items, because obviously the items are only being spawned on the client, or on the server, so. Okay, good. Wow. Okay, so we don't need to load the stream level on the client. Which means this entire thing that we just changed up with the currently at station, setting it to a name rather than a Boolean, was not necessary. Well, I'm sure. Whatever. Fuck it. Whatever. We already did it. We already set it to name. Whatever. It's 10 p.m. Should I grab another Red Bull or is that a bad idea? Probably a bad idea. Getting ready for release in 12 days. Hey, I hope the release goes well. Hope the release goes well. Yeah, Freak. How's it going? Been a while? Doing well. How are you? Did you get my Twix bar? Not a chance. Not a chance. Is there a game loop already? It's getting there. However, there are definitely some improvements I like to make. There are definitely some improvements I like to make to the game design. Like, there are quite a few things I'd like to do. It's not in a position where I'm happy with it yet. There's a steady working game loop that's amazing. It's... I wouldn't say it's there just yet. I wouldn't say it's there just yet. Like, we got the item system and stuff. I think it's a case of bringing it all together. Is a big part, I would say. Monsters, need to get the monsters randomly generating and stuff in the game as well. Yeah, I'd say there's still a ways to go. A long ways to go still, I would say. Yeah. It was a barren train a month ago. Yeah, we got a couple things in. Got a toilet. What are those door sounds? It was an accident. It was an accident. Oh yeah, we have we're gonna have a cool little fun find the little puzzle stuff in here as well to open up some exclusive items in here, so that should be kind of fun. And then, yeah, we got the warehouse car. We got the office car, which also has a secret little second floor, which we got to fill in with a bunch of stuff in here, too. So that we got to do. There's a little gap in the mesh that I got to fix. But yeah, it's... The main loop has issues that I'd like to probably fix up. I think one of the big things is probably adding more stuff to the main train. We have this whole idea here where you have to like maintain these and make sure like do this stuff. The quota rework is going to be a whole thing where you have to like get a certain amount of fuel in here rather than like keeping up the fuel to keep the route, like the train going. I think we're going to do it a little differently. I think we're going to do that. Yeah, I think we're going to adjust this to be a bit different. I think that's going to be the idea. So that will most likely change. But one of the things I want to get in the game first is the whole like monsters roaming around, because like that could be like a big part on its own. That's a bomb. So yeah, the whole quota rework should be a big one. Why is the bomb not screaming anymore? That's just a static bomb. That's not the living bomb that randomly spawns in. Whoops. And then all of the maintenance tasks don't affect the train just yet, so like that'll have to be a thing that we put in. Am I able to throw random stuff in the furnace? Yeah. Yeah, this whole system will probably change. It'll add to a quota, so every time you feed something in, it'll just feed the quota. What about other people? Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, you can do that too. What's the hanging book? This is the employee handbook. It'll be kind of like a little guide tutorial. It'll also show you the passenger manifest, which is basically all of the monsters. And that will like, as you encounter the monsters, it'll fill in the manifest a bit more with more information about the monsters and whatnot, so... That's the plan, Peak. I gotta do a bunch of that stuff. Like, the air horn is also gonna get that. The fire extinguisher will have a unique thing that happens as well. All that kind of stuff. Many things to be done. Okay, so now I'm learning that when the server loads a sublevel, everybody receives that information. So that's very good. That means this whole rework of changing this and setting it to a rep notify was very unnecessary. But, you know, whatever. Technically means we don't need to unload the levels either. When am I aiming to release it? I do not have a release date right now. Hold on, I gotta do one thing. Give me 1 second, chat. You guys okay with me? Give me a second. Here, stare at these gameplay clips of my other game. Okay, hold on. Hello. Sorry. Okay. But yeah, I don't have a release date at all. I don't have a release date. Ideally this year, but I don't know if that's going to be like, I don't like, realistically speaking, I don't think that's realistic. I think we can maybe do a demo this year. Steam is starting to show hours till release. Remember, Jay, even though it shows that, you have to be the one to push the button. So that's something to keep in mind. It does not automatically release. You have to be the one to push the button. The green button. The big green or blue button. I forgot what color it is. Do I ever get burnt out working on friendslop? Like you don't feel like working on it? I don't get burnt out on it, but I do have my doubts. Which I think as an artist is completely normal. Having my doubts about like the design. Which I think is a good doubt to have because I do feel like there are problems with the design. From an enjoyability standpoint. So that's about it, but I have fun with it. I think it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to work on a game that hasn't been released yet than a game that has released. When a game is released and you're like updating and stuff, I feel like it's a lot more stressful. I feel like it's a lot more stressful. But I haven't reached any sort of burnout yet for this project. I still very much like enjoy working on it. The train overpassed, exploding bomb voiceover, you got this? Yeah, just kind of like... I work on what I feel like is fun. Obviously, in doing that, I do sometimes not focus on things that I should focus on. But in my opinion, any progress is better than no progress. Obviously, it's better that I do work on the elements that finish up the proof of concept as soon as possible so that we can start testing it. But, if I'm not having fun with it, who's to say that when the players play the game, are they going to have fun with it? I feel like that's a necessary element when it comes to this kind of genre of game. You gotta have some fun with it. Obviously, it's going to have its moments, but redeemed 5 push-ups. Hey. All right. Okay. All right, you happy now? You happy now? Redeemed 5 push-ups. You satisfied? It's currently 4:20 p.m. 4:20 blaze it. Kermit the Frog here, man. I really love doing push-ups. Right. Right. Let's get some work done. Shut up, Notion. Go away. Load station 0 level and replicate that the level is currently loaded. Need to adjust currently at station variable set to notify. So I guess we can call that set server to lobby. That'll be the custom event. Set server to lobby. Set game state to lobby. Set game to station 0. I guess that could be what we do. Run on server, reliable. Set game to station 0. So train state, we gotta set the train state. to the default values, set the currency to the default value, set the maintenance tasks. Hold on. That is probably in a different area. Oh, we got to clear the train. I guess. Clear the train. That being said, we should only clear the train if that element of the train exists. Because at the very beginning of the game, we might be clearing the train when we don't want it to clear the train. That's fine. I'm wondering, what am I going to do with my 80k glitches? Your points? I don't know. I can't tell you that. That would be insider trading. That would be insider trading, and I am not... I don't break the law. I do not break the law here. $80 push-ups? I don't think 80k would be 80 push-ups. See here, there's a should be visible station 1, but I don't think that's needed. Is it? Oh, it doesn't make it visible after loading. Oh, it makes it visible here. Huh? Hmm. Okay. Okay, let's go back down here. So we unload the train. It's kind of unnecessary, especially on startup. But I guess we'd want to unload the train anyways, and then just load a new train in. I guess. Thought it was 10 push-ups, my bad. What do you take me for? A Giga Chad that can... Oh, right, I was looking for the maintenance tasks. How we clear all the maintenance tasks. Server transition to station. So there has to be something in here that clears all of our maintenance tasks. Also, we want to probably do all of this. And we want to do station _0. We also probably want to load station 0 in here. So this will be station 0. I swear it used to be 10 at first, at least. I don't remember. I don't think it was. I'd be a lot more muscular if that was the case. I'd have a lot more bulging muscles out of my arms. And maybe I wouldn't have 24/7 chest tightness. Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, train speed is set to 1. No, set that to 0. Okay. Okay, this is replicated. So this will replicate to clients. Currency will replicate to clients. Maybe you're just so rich you turned a blind eye to the other digits. The push-ups? the push-ups. Oh wait, we want to respawn all the dead players. Let's do that. It's probably pretty important. So that's one of the things we got to do here. However, I don't know where the part is that resets all the maintenance tasks. I think it might be entered station. I think entered station might be the instance moving object. What? Wait, what? Wait, huh? Huh? Wait, huh? Wait, where do we, what? Huh? Where are we wiping this? Oh, right here. Is this literally it? We just clear it? That's fucking stupid. Whatever. All right, so we'll just clear the maintenance tasks, I suppose, and then force net update. And then I do see that there's some calls to entered station in here. Entered station. I'm not sure. We should probably feed some variables into here, but additionally, it might be a good idea to do some camera fades. And then do this camera fade at the end. Okay. Yes. You know, Drek. There is a nice stretch you can do at a door frame for the chest. I'm assuming it's the one where you hold onto the door frame with one arm and then pull back. I've been doing that, not consistently, but I'm guessing that's the one you're talking about. Or is there a different one? You do it with both arms. I'm guessing you hold onto both the frames and then pull forward. I'm not gonna lie, that hurts my arms. Like, that's how weak I am. Like, even my arms. I was trying to do a stretch yesterday. You know that stretch where you lean down and hold on to your ankles? I legit felt like I was popping my arms out of my shoulders. I'm that weak right now. Yeah. How goes it? Doing well, Drek. How are you? Damn, dude. Yeah, I know. Things are not good right now in terms of my physical. My physical are me going into bed actually hurts my back because I think my core is so weak that yeah, anyways, whatever. Go to a chiropractor? That's not even muscles at this point. I think it is just muscles. And maybe my bone density is not very good. Because, yeah, probably diet. And then muscles again. Working out obviously helps with bone density. So I think it's just a basis of I just need to exercise. I just need to get back into exercising. Add push-ups mechanics in the game to make it hard as some sort of punishment for players or as a trade currency. Gym stream when? I could not, man. I don't have that level of confidence to do a gym stream. I would feel too awkward, bro. I'd feel way too awkward. Dude, listen, mad respect to anybody who could do that. I can't do that. Also, I feel like a lot of people would probably be awkward about me doing a gym stream. I feel, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if people would, it'd have to be for one, it would have to be a private gym, like literally my own gym, which I don't have one. My office. And two, I feel like people are going to see me on their following list and they're going to be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is he doing? You know what I mean? Not really? You don't think so? That's a Giga Chad first time message. Hey, Tijani, how's it going? I mean, doing almost anything is better than nothing when it comes to physical activity. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, so we clear the maintenance tasks. However, that doesn't necessarily clear the maintenance tasks. We got to do that part as well. We're loading station 0. We have not deleted all the items in the train yet. Turn off all maintenance tasks, sort of. Set currency to 0. Set current maintenance ID to 0. Speaking of stretching, I recently was able to do a full forward stretch after not being able to do it for like 15 years of my life. Like back straight and everything, or like... like a forward bend. I guess I can technically do that. Like touching your feet. Like going your legs like this and then curving down like this. Well, not curving that much. That's fucking crazy. You turned into like a bow and arrow. But like, you know what I mean. Touching the floor. I think I can touch the floor. I think. With your palms? Oh, shit. Damn. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, all right. Black Widow. All right. Able to do crazy, stretchy movements. Yeah, all right. All right, Elastigirl. All right, I think we reset all the stats. So now we just need to set the game to station 0 when all of the players die. So in here, we just have to determine if players dead is more than or equal to number of player states. Yeah. If this is true, then we will do server set game to station 0. I really hate the naming of my functions. I hate it. I was not able to go further than my knees. Holy shit. Good shit. I've been watching this whole time and I actually just realized I don't know what you're working on. Am I a narcissist? I don't think anybody in here knows what I'm working on. We're making it so when all of the players die, we load into a new station that we created, a new station level, which is this one. This is station 0, basically. This is going to be the lobby. The level for the lobby, basically. We just have not made the lobby at all, so this is like the first rendition of it, which is why it's taking so much longer. It's why it's taking so much longer is because this entire thing now needs to work for multiple levels. I just found out the server loading a level loads it on all the other clients, so that's good. Now we just have to do it so when all of the players die, we load in. So if we have 2 players, let's test this out. Client 1 dies. Okay. Then the server dies. Okay, we respawned, but we're still moving? I think this is the problem right here. Oh, wait. I know what the problem is. This checks if the path progress is more than or equal to 100. So do we just set the path progress to 100 when we're in the, sure, fuck it. Problem solved. There we are. Kind of like peak, you got everyone in there in and then start the run. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then we're back at station 0, baby. Did a new train technically load in? Should probably delete the dead bodies when we reset. I don't know about you guys, but that might be a good idea. So when we die, does the other... Let's try it again. No, it's not loading in a new set, but I think... I know why. We got to do this first. This is... Oh. So we gotta unload the station because I don't think the route exists because we reset the route. Hold on, what kind of train is this? Let's open the door, and then we'll know if it resets at all. Hmm. Hmm. It's still not unloading it. Is there anything else I should know when it comes to unloading? Oh, we do a multi... Does the multicast unload them? Oh, the multicast unloads them as well. But even the train... Even the big boss man is not unloading them. Have I ever considered adding player character facial expressions? Probably at some point, yes. We don't have any of that stuff just yet. We just recently added the whole eye movement stuff. Well, I don't know how recent is, but you know what I mean. Recently-ish. Recently-ish. So, server set game to station 0. Well, we are unloading and loading into the next station. It's just... This for loop has to complete before this sequence begins the next thing, right? Okay, let's just do this then. Let's just do that for safety. This should, in theory, unload the train. Unless we have to do a multicast call, which we might have to. We might have to anyways. Oh, you know what it might be? We have to randomize the run seed again. So I know we do it in begin play. I think we're going to randomize. We have to randomize again. Might be the problem is just reloading the same trains again. It's the only thing I could think about. I can't tell if it's a different train because I didn't look. What if we die while we're at the station? Nothing. Although we are gonna have to consider that. If we die in the station, then we'll just immediately respawn that player. Okay, hold on. Open this door. It's not resetting this Somehow train instance level is invalid. Yeah, shut up, Unreal Engine. Somehow train level instance is invalid. In is requesting unload and removal. Train state route index -1. Oh, it might be the -1 actually. Because, yeah, it's that. That's the problem. But then the problem is how do you do a multiply by 6 and then, oh, I guess it's just gonna be 0. Okay, that's the problem. Because this, the reason why that has that -1 is because the route index has been increased by 1 when we train. Okay. This should fix the problem. So right now we have containers, or the flatbed. I don't think the client is gonna get the right information. So as you can see, the server calls it. We have not initialized the new train, however. Somehow train instance level is invalid. It should technically regenerate the new train. Oh, I crashed the engine. Ha ha ha. Hee hee hee. Ha ha ha. Ooh ooh ooh. Ha ha ha. Gaming. I hope it saved my work. You can hit save and it won't save, and then you'll be like, huh? Oh, it did. Okay, it saved it. So I think now it's just a basis of... I want to say game state initialized is where we call that the new train should be loaded in. That being said, I do see a 3-second delay in here. This is definitely a band-aid delay. That is 100%. That is 100% a band-aid delay. That is 100% a band-aid delay. Without a doubt, that's a band-aid delay. Okay, let's just put it over here. Oh, that is 100% a band-aid. Okay, hold on. Multi-transition to station. I think what we can do is actually call the multi-transition to station. I don't see anything that's like super out of the particular. So we'll call multi-transition to station. I think we can actually call this. I don't see anything that's super out of the ordinary here. It's just going to unload the level. I do see the -1 in here. Yeah, sure. Okay, so now we got to copy this, and I got to find every reference of this, which is this one. And then in here, we need this one, but that, and then put that there. All right. Okay. Hopefully this multi-transition calls before this gets set, because then that would fuck things up. Maybe we put that like farther ahead. Well, whatever. We'll find out during multiplayer testing. All right. Not good, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, so now what we should see on both the client and the servers is the old train should unload. I don't know if a new train will load in. We'll find out. So, moment of truth. Well, a new train has loaded in, however the client doesn't see it. You seeing this shit right now, man? Okay. I have a feeling I know what's going on. Does this event call games to... Get up in X. 5 push-ups, huh? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Haha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, whatever. This is genius. Steam. Trees hate you. Hike through the worst forest full of the most horrible trees. Do not trust them. They will hurt you. Is this just a rage game? But, yep, comedy, dark humor. Yep. Yep. The tree has a gun. Right. It's just a rage game. It feels like a Roblox game mode. Yeah, you could say that about a lot of video games, man. Even Call of Duty could be considered a Roblox game mode, okay? Let's be real. Okay, so multi-transition to station. Okay, this is going to be problematic. We have a huge... flow problem. Which is that... Also, this is incorrect. Should be visible station 0. I think we can cut this out. Don't think that's needed. Game state initialized, though, is going to be a problem. Okay, what do I call it here? We call that here. Oh, right. We call game state initialized here, which is way later. Oh, right, but the server needs to load the thing in first before the clients can. Okay, I don't think we can reuse this function. As much as I'd like to, I don't think we can. There's too many things going on in here. For one, this resetting the train route index kind of sucks. What if we put this somewhere else? Route index unloaded. Like, technically, we'd probably want to just keep track of the actual index that was unloaded prior and then load the new one in. I think that's our current problem right now. Multi-transition to station, and then past run route index. Okay, so what we'll do is we will set it to 0, but what I'm going to do here this will have to be replicated, which is really stupid. Actually, no, it does not have to be replicated. Now I think about it. We're kind of getting in a little bit of potato territory with a lot of our code here. A little bit, little bit potato. A little bit potato. But I think this should be working now. So we got a flatbed as the first thing, and then clients should... Well, it unloaded for both of them. So that's good. That's pretty good. The other problem is that it's not loading. And I want to say that happens in game state initialize is what loads in the next train. Oh. I think I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Shit. Would it actually be better to unload the level? Unload the game level and then reload it again? It might actually be better to just do a server travel to the game level again. I actually think it might be better to just do a full-on server travel and just reload the entire game level. The problem that we're running into right now... okay. I am very curious... I'm actually curious if doing a server travel to the game world again is a good idea. And I want to see if... what happens. I want to see what happens when we do this. Yeah, it might be better to just full-on reload the entire world. The reasoning for that is, when you... I think when you unload a level that's already used... Yeah, it's just really janky, so... Well, would you look at that? We just restarted the game already. Okay. That might be our best bet. We just reload the game. I'm going to rename this. Restart game. Server restart game. Which means I don't think we need to unload any of the levels. We don't need to unload any of the levels. In fact, I think the game state will restart itself anyways when you restart the world. So I might not even need any of this. I might not need any of this at all, actually. Yeah, server restart game. I think we're going to delete this because I don't think it's necessary. So I'll just go here. Let's see if it works just fine. This also will resolve the problem of the bodies being there. So we're basically just reloading the whole game. It's just now we just have to make it so by default by default, we'll just make it so you start at station 0. So that'll be the big part. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing some errors here. That's okay. Okay. We don't need any of this because now we're just restarting, we're just reloading the level, which I think is our best bet, to be honest. We're basically reloading the server. The entire world is being reloaded, which I don't think is problematic. That being said, I think that means we don't need this. Because I think the currency gets reset anyways. Let's see. We'll type in motherload, which will give us 50 currency, and then we'll restart. And then I want to see if those values get reset. Yeah, they do. Okay, we don't need to do any of this then. Like, none of this is actually needed because the run seed gets regenerated anyways when we start up the server. So I don't need this. We don't need this anymore. We don't need that variable. Goodbye. We don't need this. This we will need for beginning the game. So this is going to have to be a different system. This will no, not that. Not, I don't want that. I want this. So we're just going to change the default state of the game. I'm just getting all of the nodes we're going to need in there. So as far as I know, this is all that's really needed. Like this is it. We don't need to respawn all of the dead players when we respawn at station 0. We don't need to clear any maintenance tasks because there are no maintenance tasks to clear. Okay. Train speed, yes, we can set that to 0, and then we can set that to loaded. Okay, so these are going to be the nodes we need. For loading station 0 on begin play. All right. So basically the way that we begin play is going to be different. All that work just to realize I could just unload the fucking level and reload it. Well, whatever. I wanted to avoid doing that, but I honestly think this is probably our best bet. It's to just restart the server. It's to basically restart the level. Yep, this is our best bet. Okay, so now we just need to change the state of the beginning of the game. And then that will be basically the station 0. That being said, actually, we don't really need to do station 0 right now. I'm actually finding that now we just restart the game. We just start on the train. I actually think that might be enough for now. Yeah, I think for the proof of concept, we do not need station 0 yet. I really don't think it's necessary. So, we will keep this here. Yeah, we really don't need any of this. Oh, that's really funny. You know, Max, how long have you been working on your game? This game has been about, I want to say 4 months, basically. 4 to 5 months. We've been working on this for, yeah, around 4 to 5 months. So we don't respawn at station 0, we restart the game. Okay, so that's our current structure. We just restart the game. One thing is, we do need to multitask to do the camera fade. I guess we'll just do that. Multi-restart game called. Doesn't necessarily need to be a reliable call, but we'll just make it reliable. And then in here, what we can do is just call multi-restart game called. And then that will make it so when all the players die, everybody's screen fades to black. Pretty straightforward. And then server loads the new server, the new lobby, and then everybody else joins that lobby. Okay. Problem solved. All right. All right, we got it. Okay, that's going to be more than enough for proof of concept and testing. We don't need the station 0 yet. That's going to be like quite a bit more work. But we still have it on the list, so no problem. But I would say this is complete for testing. It's not like necessarily completed, but it's basically completed. So I'm going to mark that as complete, and then we can always move that back into the other tasks when we need all this other stuff. Okay. And then station 0, we're going to put that in to be decided. We'll put that in here. Okay. Technically, multiplayer lobby, we could probably delete that because we don't need that. That's going to be under this. That's okay, though. All right. Well, that's good. We downscoped for the proof of concept, but that's good. It saves me time and effort. Man, what a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a crazy day. My ice cream is on the way. What flavor did you get? What flavor did you get? All right. Good. So we now have, if we go back here, player death and spectating system. This moose tracks. Okay. Is it the one that has like big chunks of like chocolate and like caramel and whatnot? Caramel. Yeah, I know that one. Chat, we have another green on the list technically. The player death and spectating system is basically ready to go for the proof of concept. Oh yeah. And it's in its obviously very basic form, but it essentially works. It essentially works, which is great. We're making great progress. Obviously still many things to do, but yeah. Wouldn't it melt? Well, it's basically the same as you going to the grocery store, buying ice cream, and then bringing it home. It's just someone else is doing it for you. Sometimes they might do a couple other stops, but hey, haven't you bought ice cream sometimes? And then maybe did something, and then went home? Basically the same thing. They have those neat bags that keep a temperature perfecto. I feel like they just say that. It's just a bag with like aluminum fucking casing. Bro, there's been so many times where I do DoorDash and they like combine a cold ass drink with a bunch of hot food, and now your cold ass drink is warm and all of your food probably cooled down faster than needed to. They do that shit so fucking often, man. They do that shit so often. The Korean food place that I order from, every time I get in Arizona, they fucking do that shit. Ugh. All right, anyways. I'm going to drop out, chat. I'm going to drop out of the stream. I will be back tomorrow. Hold on. I think I got a call tomorrow, but I don't know what time it is. Okay, yeah, I should be able to stream tomorrow as long as I stream early. As long as I stream early, then I'm good for tomorrow. What about on Friday? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on Friday as well. Okay. For some reason, I imagine a whole ass ice cream cone from a shopping center being hauled to you or some shit. Nah, man, it's in a tub. It's I don't order food. I'm in the middle of nowhere. The benefits of being in the middle of nowhere: you save money, but also you're in the middle of nowhere, so you got to drive there yourself. So really, that's worse, honestly. Think about it. Anyways. So do you really save money? Not really, especially with the price of gas these days. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for looking, chat, and sticking around. We didn't really get too much work done because obviously I just kind of just discovered I could just do a server travel. And, well, we got some stuff done. Listen, there's a green box. There's a new green box. Green box is dropped. Okay. That's pretty great. All right. Okay. Anyways, we're making somewhat okay progress towards our proof of concept, but obviously there's quite a few other things we need to get done. Yeah. Slowly but surely. I might get some work done off stream. And by might, I mean I should get some work done off stream. Yeah. Maybe the item shop discount system, but that's not really necessary. Anyways. Take it easy. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Peace out. Thanks for dropping by.